Hi, Tana Marshall here with your Feel Good Friday message, and I'm coming to you from the floor again today, partially out of exhaustion and partially because both of my kitties are in here needing my attention right now. And part of that is because we've had a crazy few days with mom in the hospital, and I know they're like, "What's happening? Where's my person?" So I had an interesting experience I wanted to share with you. I'm going to be talking about practicing the law of attraction while you're in a situation like caregiving. And I'm finding that there are a lot of people out there who are caregivers who are trying to practice the law of attraction and finding it difficult sometimes because of the situation that you're in every day. You're so immersed in this life that pretty much doesn't allow you to have your own life a lot of times. And that can be very frustrating and discouraging. And, you just don't know when it's going to end, when you're going to get your life back, what your life is going to be like when you do get it back. So, the best thing that we can do while we're in this situation is understand and practice these principles that will allow us to have a really wonderful, fulfilling, happy, joyful life, regardless of what's going on around us. So here's what happened the last few days. Um, Many of you know all this, so if you already know this, bear with me when I'm repeating for people that are maybe just tuning in for the first time. And if you are, welcome, thank you. I care for my mom full time, and I only see my husband on the weekends, and that has dwindled over the years because of a lack of support. My family has been less and less able to help because of their own circumstances, and we can only afford our caregiver for a certain amount of time on the weekend. So I spend a few hours with my husband on Saturday, and Sunday I come home and sleep. So my condition for this new routine is that my husband and I get one full weekend a month together, and we usually go to Palm Springs. It's our favorite place. It really just helps us to relax and decompress. We have a lot of friends there. And this past weekend was our weekend in Palm Springs for the month. And it was great to be there as always, but it was super hot. And we're used to the heat. It doesn't bother us. We've been there when it's been 115 and we're like, it's nothing. But if it's a dry heat, that's awesome. But when it's humid, it's brutal. And it was really, really humid. And I think we both got a little heat stroke on the first night we were there. We went out to dinner, and the restaurant we were having dinner at, their air conditioning wasn't working well. And we were like, why is it so hot in here? And the manager came over and said, oh, our air conditioning person is coming up. And they were coming up from Los Angeles. So it was pretty hot during the whole meal, and I felt like I was going to pass out by the time we were done. I had a hot meal, which, it just didn't help. So we both just went back to our room and we were guzzling liquids and just kind of zonked out. And the next day, we didn't even leave our room. We just relaxed. So it was really nice. And on our way home, we actually had a show to go to before we came home, and I was super tired. And unfortunately, my mom kept waking up during the night, and she was kind of sometimes she gets a little belligerent, and sometimes she's just talking nonsense, like asking for her parents, asking for my dad, or where's my car, stuff like that. Usually when that happens, she has a urinary tract infection, which I learned a couple of years ago when she had her first one, that it makes seniors kind of loopy. And so now when this happens, I know that that's usually what's going on with her. We usually take her over and get some antibiotics, and she heals in a few days and she's pretty much back to her normal. And a lot of times this happens in the middle of the night, and I'm like, I don't want to go to the ER in the middle of the night. But when we actually do, there's no traffic on the road, the ER is empty, we usually get pretty quick service there. But I was just so tired, and I didn't know if that was specifically it. And what has also come up from these occurrences, one of the last ones last year, we took her to the ER. They diagnosed her, gave her antibiotics. We brought her home. She was still acting really agitated and difficult a lot of times. So we took her back over there, and they wound up putting her on an antipsychotic pill, which helped tremendously. And it also knocks her out. So I got permission from her doctor to give that to her every night. And it keeps her very even keel. My niece was helping me every weekend at the time. She's like, Grandma seems happier and calmer. And so it was beneficial for her, and it wasn't hurting her. So I know that that's for that agitated state. And because she was just so agitated, I gave her like half a pill during the night, the other night, another one. And then when she got up again, like at 5, I gave her another half. And then I thought, okay, we've got to take her over there. And at this point, she was out of it. So out of it, she was dead weight. I thought, oh my God, I OD'd my mom. I was so nervous. But, and talking to her doctor and everything, I actually had to call the paramedics to come and take her because we couldn't even get her in the car. So, and she said, well, just to make sure it's not a stroke, which is probably not, just tell them there's a stroke risk and she'll get special treatment. Well, unfortunately, because we did that, they took her to the nearest hospital instead of her hospital. She belongs to Kaiser, which is a little farther out. So we had to go to the closer hospital, and that was a 5 hour ordeal. And finally, when we got her transferred, we had to go over to Kaiser, and that was another 5 hour ordeal. But here's my point. While we were there, and I know whenever we go to the ER, it's going to be at least a 5 hour situation. And I never know if they're going to diagnose her and send her home. Usually they keep her overnight to observe her and see how she's behaving and make sure that she's better and make sure that she's stronger and that the infection is going away. Yes, I know, Lovey. You missed mom, didn't you? Huh? Missed mom. Yes. Where's my person? So while I was in the waiting room, I was thinking about those of you who are in a similar situation and that it might be difficult to practice the law of attraction sometimes. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be very conscious about this and make sure that I am aware of the vibes that I'm sending out, the thoughts that I'm thinking right now, and just take a little bit more control over my experience, the part of the experience I have control over, which is my thoughts, my feelings, my vibes. So while we were in the first waiting room, I was just kind of relaxing and observing everybody else. I mean, a lot of people came and went during that time, and actually talked to a couple of really interesting people. There was this one guy that came in. His name was Sal. He was in a wheel, like a like a motorized wheelchair, and looked like he had limited mobility. I'm so tired. I can't even talk. I'm so sorry. I don't think he had any mobility in his legs and limited in his hands and arms. And he's trying to get his ID card out and everything. And he had the greatest personality. And he's like, "Hey, I'm Sal, and I'm checking in." I guess he'd hurt his knee and his ankle, and so I just offered to help him because he couldn't really use his hands very well. And so I got his ID thing out of his wallet and helped him. He was so nice. And it was just a really nice moment to connect with someone and help somebody while we were just sitting there. And, my husband, he was very tired and a little bit more frustrated than I was. And I just kind of found myself, I was tired and I would like to go home, but I wasn't unhappy. I wasn't frustrated. I wasn't upset. So I just was, wishing like, let's get on with it. Let's get some answers. Let's get things going here. I mean, everybody does it, but on the inside, I really felt kind of peaceful. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to, I didn't really know what I wanted to focus on. So I just went back to my go-to affirmation. I love and approve of myself. I love and approve of myself. And that helped. And I also remembered, Wayne Dyer has talked about this, and I had taped a Super Soul Sunday, excuse me, where Oprah was talking to Joel Osteen, one of my favorite people, and they were talking about his book and his sermon, talking about I am, and how whatever you put after I am continuously tends to become true for you. So we need to be very conscious about this because it's very powerful. And a lot of times we don't realize that we're creating our reality by going, I am. And I found myself thinking throughout this whole ER ordeal, and both ERs, like, I am so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And I thought, okay, I got to stop. And I thought, I'm joyful. I'm grateful. I am appreciating all the amazing people that are helping us. I am grateful that I have my husband next to me. I'm grateful that nothing serious is wrong with mom. It's just a urinary tract infection. I'm grateful that there are great people taking care of her. And I'm peaceful and I'm happy and I'm okay right now. So I just started thinking those things consciously, and I actually was just very peaceful the whole time. And if any of you follow me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, you'll see I posted this picture because they called me over to the window to ask me about something. And I was sitting there talking to the person. And I happened to look over, and my husband and I had been sitting under this poster that said something about guardian angels. And it just hit me like, oh my God, okay, I was meant to see that just now. And it was kind of like that's how it is with us. We always have care and guidance, always angels watching over us and loved ones and all that kind of thing, but we don't know it. And there will be a reminder like, okay, you're covered here. Someone's here watching over you and making sure everything's okay. And it was so powerful for me. I thought, wow. So I really, really kind of got back on track at that point too. So, but I had to really dig deep when we were at Kaiser's ER, and it was midnight, and we were still waiting for somebody to come and tell us what was going to happen. And she was going to be admitted, but we had to wait for the admitting doctor, and that was taking forever. And there were all these other people waiting to be admitted at the same time. And my poor husband, as I said, he was getting kind of restless, like, what's taking so long? Why are they out there? Why don't they consider our situation? And I just wasn't commenting on it or getting involved in that. Because when you're in a situation like that, you're probably gonna have people around you who are voicing their frustrations, and you can either get caught up in it and go, yeah, but you also have the choice to not join in that vibe and not include their vibe in yours and not come down to their level. You can always keep your vibe up here. And that's what we always want to do in any situation. Because when we do that, when we focus on better feeling thoughts and emotions and consciously keep our vibe up here by appreciating what's good in the moment, in the situation, because there's always something good, something to appreciate. When you keep it up here, everyone around you rises up to meet your vibe. So remember, you cannot, this is one of my favorite things that Abraham says, you can't get sick enough to help someone else get well. You can't be poor enough to help someone else be wealthy. And you can't have a low enough vibe to help someone else reach a higher vibe, because that just doesn't happen. So I was just working on keeping my vibes high and feeling good and just looking for the best in the situation. And finally somebody came and we got everything taken care of, and we're like, can we go now? I felt bad, but I talked to mom, like, okay, you're going to be taken care of, you're fine. And she was kind of tired and out of it. And so she was fine. I knew she was in good hands. So we came home, and even though I was super tired and fatigued, I had this feeling of peace and well-being. And fortunately, they kept her through the next day, and I really took advantage of that time to just zone out and rest and not think, oh, I was going to call like every half hour from the hospital. Different people needed to ask me questions and whatnot. But I got to rest. But I was thinking of those of you out there who are in the same situation as I am, and I really wanted to have something to bring to you, to offer, that you could utilize when you are in the situation. And maybe this is for you to use every day. Maybe it's really difficult for you every day in your caregiving situation. And this can also apply to parents who are having a hard time with their kids at different times, or maybe you have a newborn that won't sleep or is fussy and you haven't had sleep, which does not help your disposition. It's so easy to get frustrated and tired, impatient, and fly off the handle a little bit more easily when you're tired and you're fatigued and you haven't had enough rest and you can't take care of yourself. So I get it. And you just have to utilize every little moment that you can to breathe and go within and take care of yourself, and know that there's support there for you. Even if you can't see it, maybe you don't even feel it, maybe you don't believe in it, but I just want you to stay open to the possibility that there are unseen forces out there that are supporting you in these situations. And if you can get quiet your mind, and just focus on some kind of positive thought, whether it's just love in general, like love that you have for your loved one that you're caring for, love for yourself. If you do have some kind of faith, focus on your love of God or Jesus or the angels or someone or something else in your life. Like I've got my cats here. You can focus on a pet and how that makes you feel loved. You just want to get into a better place where you're able to focus on something that makes you feel good and reminds you how much love there is in your life, how much you're receiving, because you're already giving a lot. So you want to think about how much love that you're receiving, how much love and support is there available for you. I also posted another thing. I have this app on my phone where I get texts from Archangel Michael and Jesus every hour. And it's pretty amazing because usually the message is exactly what I need. And there was one that came up during this whole hospital thing, and I posted that too because I thought I got to share this stuff because I want other people to know that you are supported. Angels are there supporting you, and you really need to acknowledge and remember that kind of support is there when you're in a situation where it's pretty much physically just you most of the time, and it can be tiring and stressful. And if you don't have your life, you have to remember there's that support there, and remember that this time there's a purpose for all of it. And when you do get your life back, just remember that you are accumulating kind of in a spiritual escrow all this good stuff, all this energy and all of this abundance and all of this joy and fulfillment. And if you can focus on it now, you're going to increase what is stored up in that storage of escrow for you that's going to come back to you big time when you get your life back, when you're done with your caregiving job, whatever that situation is for you. So just remember there are good things in store for you, and there can be lots of good things happening now. You just have to remember to be conscious of your vibes, your thoughts that you're thinking, the emotions you're feeling, because you do have control over that and you can shift it at any time. I know this is a little bit lengthy, but I just really wanted to provide some extra support for those of you going through a similar situation to tell you I get it. You know, if you have trips like this to the doctor or the ER often, you really need to practice this stuff. It's easy to get pulled off and go, oh, it doesn't work for me and I can't right now. I'm just too upset. That's exactly the time you should be practicing this stuff more, because that's when it's going to help you. That's when it's going to help your loved ones. It's going to invisibly help the people around you, whoever you're interacting with in this situation. They're going to feel your vibe and they're going to come forward with more love and support. Yes, Libby, I know. Yes, I know. More love and support for you in that situation. They're going to want to help you because, you know, we all get those vibes from other people, people that we are drawn to, and we want to be around them. We want to do what we can for them. We want to help them if they need some kind of help or assistance. That's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract all the support and love and help and assistance that you need. And even if it's unseen, you will feel it from the inside out. And I was definitely feeling it. I was definitely feeling it. And I just want that for you too. And I just want you to know that I'm here to support you too, even though we might not know each other. If you're in this situation and these messages are helping you through a situation, I'm here for you. And if there's anything specific that you're dealing with that you would like me to address, please leave a comment below and let me know. And I would be happy to do that for you because I want to support you. I've been doing this job a long time. And I have a book that I wrote called The Enlightened Caregiver. I should probably be professional, like here it is, but I don't have it with me right now. It's called The Enlightened Caregiver, a holistic care guide for you and your loved one. And it's based on my experience caring for my mom, all the routines I have in place that have kept her really healthy and happy for many years, but also all the self-care routines that I have in place for myself. Because if you're a caregiver, your self-care is actually a little bit more important than the care that you're providing for your loved one. Because if you are not well, you can't provide the best care for the person that you're caring for. So I'm here for you. And if you're going through this, you're not alone. I'm here for you. Angels are there for you. There's a lot of support available for you. And if you acknowledge that and stay conscious of your vibes and focus on the good that's happening in your life in general, in the moment, and choose to feel good and focus on something that gets a feeling of love going within you, you're going to find that you have plenty of support. And even when the situation is exhausting or drawn out, you're going to have that inner peace and you're going to know I am supported, all is well, and hopefully you'll eventually be able to have a break and just go collapse in bed and rest a little bit if you're dealing with an ordeal and maybe it's over and things calm down a little bit. But just know that you have that support. It's there for you and you can control what kind of support you attract to yourself by watching your vibes. So that is how you can practice the law of attraction even when you're in a difficult situation, because remember, that is when it's the most important. It's easy to practice this stuff when things are kind of neutral and you're feeling good. But when you get pulled off track, that's when you really need to use this stuff to bring you back on track as much as you can. And it will make a difference. You will see, I promise you. So thank you for hanging in there with me through this message and for all of this stuff going on with my mom recently. I appreciate all your comments and your support. Thank you so much. And if you like these messages and you haven't already, remember to subscribe to the channel. And again, leave your comments below. And if you'd like these messages delivered straight to your inbox every Friday, you can jump over to my website, TanaMarshall.com, and join the mailing list. And I'll send you a special note every Friday with this message that nobody else gets except my list. So thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I'm going to go rest for a little while before I have to get my mom up. And I'll see you next time. Have a great weekend.